Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Blue Bounty Hunter channel. Now, have you ever wondered who the scaly snake-like Jedi that sits in the Jedi Council is? Well, in this video, I talk about the Jedi Master known as Oppo Rancisis, going over his backstory, death, and even the Force abilities that made him truly unique from the rest. And I'm actually going to start off with the Force abilities that made Oppo Rancisis a very powerful Jedi, and really the main ability that he used a lot was actually Force meditation, and you can actually see Qui-Gon Jinn using this in The Phantom Menace. And basically, Force meditation was just an ability that let the user really just calm down and become one with the Force for a while, and it really just heightened their powers as well as their allies' powers in the Force. Oppo also specialized in the ability of Militia, which was an ability that caused opponents to lose their control of their equilibrium and become nauseous and dizzy for a few minutes. So I guess this was basically just like a Force push, but it messed with the brains of the victims a little bit more. And he could also use Force Judgment, which was a light side equivalent of Force Lightning. And this is pretty cool because basically the only other Jedi that was known to use this in Legends was actually Plo Koon himself. Also, the last one is that he could actually alter the environment around him using the Force, so he could change the temperature or the weather conditions to his liking to help in battle. Now I'm actually going to go over his entire life story, and Oppo Rancisis was actually born on the planet of Thespius in 206 BBY to the female blood monarch of the planet, and he was found to be Force sensitive from a young age and was sent to the Jedi when he was only 6. Even though he received some training from Yoda, his official master was Yaddle, who noted him to be strong in the Force and a skilled tactician, and apparently he was quite rebellious in his youth, which is honestly hard to imagine this wise, bearded Jedi as a troublemaker, but I guess people change. When he was 20, his sister was assassinated by terrorists, which made Oppo the heir to the throne, but since he was dedicated to the Jedi Order, he actually declined the offer to continue his service to the Force. At around 89 BBY, Oppo Rancisis caught Lorian Nod and Dooku, who were both apprentices at the time, with a Sith holocron in their possession, and after an examination from the council, they decided to banish Nod for his possession of the holocron, but they basically let Dooku off since he wasn't the one that actually got the holocron, and he obviously went on to become a revered Jedi. And during the Stark Hyperspace Wars, Plo Koon, alongside Oppo Rancisis, devised a plan to attack Ico Stark, who had unleashed a terrible virus onto Republic hyperspace routes. And after their victory, Rancisis's term on the council was actually made permanent. In 33 BBY, the Yin Kori, which was a species native to the planet of Yinkor, threatened the Jedi by attacking other worlds in the Yinkor system, and after the Yin Kori beheaded the 2 Jedi that the council sent for negotiations, they realized that they needed a new strategy. Oppo Rancisis informed the council that the Yin Kori philosophy was that they could do whatever they wish to the weak, but if an enemy is more powerful than them, then they will surrender. And with this information, a Jedi strike team, including Mace Windu, successfully attacked Yinkor. But meanwhile, the Yin Kori attacked the Jedi Temple, but minus a few casualties, the Jedi were able to fend them off. And Oppo voiced his concerns to Yoda that the Yin Kori might have been manipulated by an outside force. Now, Rancisis remained a Jedi through the invasion of Naboo, as well as the Separatist Uprising, and he was actually one of the Jedi who thought Anakin's future was too dark for him to join the Council. In 22 BBY, only 1 month before the Battle of Geonosis, Oppo Rancisis was sent to Trandosha to make negotiations between the Wookiees and the Trandoshans. Now, apparently he got there 4 weeks into the conflict, which apparently caused a lot of bloodshed that really could have been avoided, and the Trandoshans were petitioning to get better representation from the Senate. And after they went behind Oppo Rancisis as well as the senators' backs in order to ask the Trade Federation for help, the Wookiees refused to continue the negotiations. And during the Clone Wars, Oppo served as a great tactician for the Republic, including the time he helped devise a plan to stop the Separatists from getting an early victory from attacking Kamino. His plan was to make the Separatists think that Kamino was not well defended, but then have Republic forces fly in once the Separatists arrived. And in the end, the battle was a stalemate, but they at least kept the Separatists from destroying a fresh batch of over 1 million clones. Later in the war, Rancisis returned to his homeworld of Thespius and requested help from the Blood Monarch to help them in the war. Ultimately, the leader promised to help if Oppo could best him in traditional combat. Rancisis defeated him, and the Thespians continued to send small amounts of troops to the more deadly battles throughout the Clone Wars, and Oppo Rancisis was also one of the Jedi to allow Quinlan Vos to return to the Jedi Council after he had gone rogue while on a mission to infiltrate Dooku's inner circle. And at the very end of the Clone Wars, Oppo Rancisis fought alongside Quinlan Vos at the Siege of Seleucami when Order 66 broke out, and in canon, Oppo was actually one of the few Jedi to survive the Jedi Purge, but it is unknown what his fate was after that. Now, while it is pretty cool that he did end up surviving Order 66 in canon, I actually find his death in Legends to be a little bit more interesting, and basically he was actually supposed to perish before Order 66 at the Battle of Seleucami because the Jedi had unearthed a plot under the former Jedi Sora Bulk, who is now a dark acolyte under Darth Tyrannus, and Bulk had Ansadi assassins who were training his shadow army, which was made up of Morgu Quai clones. And after the Battle of Seleucami went on for 5 months, Oppo Rancisis used his battle meditation to find a tunnel system underground for their forces to use so that they could penetrate the shield and ion cannons. Oppo continued to coordinate the battle from his chambers, and as the Republic forces began their final attack on the Separatist base, Oppo's chambers were invaded by multiple Anzadi assassins, and after a long, exhausting fight using every resource he had available, the Jedi was able to defeat all of the assassins, but just as he killed the last of them, he was stabbed from behind by the crimson blade of Sora Bulk, who had used the assassination attempt as a diversion so that he could sneak up and kill Rancisis. After his death, Oppo's body was cremated in a ceremony, and Quinlan Vos devised a plan to defeat the Separatists as well as Bulk himself. And at the end of the day, Quinlan Vos did actually kill Sora Bulk. Even though he died here, it is said that Oppo Rancisis went on to be remembered in the archives of the New Republic. And before I end the video, I actually want to give some fun facts about Oppo Rancisis. And his lightsaber was not only green, but the hilt itself was actually meant to be curved and have a guard on it as well. So this would have been a very unique and new lightsaber hilt to see here, and it's actually from the concept art that was going to be used in some unfinished episodes of the Clone Wars. And while it would have been nice to see those episodes, I guess the concept art is still pretty cool to look at. Oppo was also skilled in hand-to-hand combat, excelling from his 4 arms and large snake-like tail, and I really just think his thespian anatomy just gave him such an advantage in battle and really just made him an interesting character in combat all around. Oppo Rancisis was apparently one of the more conservative of the Jedi Council members, as he was strongly opposed to overlooking old Jedi traditions. And at the Battle of Saleucami, Oppo devoted most of the Republic's resources towards the civilians, as Rancisis was always thinking about those in need. And the last fact that I want to say today is that Binton Ju, who actually designed Oppo Rancisis for the Phantom Menace, was apparently inspired from an old man he saw in his grandparents' Chinese calendar. But anyway, that's it for this video. You can subscribe if you want to. I upload every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, see ya.